morning. How you doing? My name is Kylie. Is everyone comfortable? It's a little crowded over here, snuggling up. Yeah, my name is Kylie, and I used to be on the staff team here, and I'm so happy to be back. I don't know if you guys feel it, but this place is pretty special. You guys have people that care about you, that want to do life with you. When I came back, I was like, this room, it feels really good. Before we get started, I'm going to ask a favor of you just immediately out the gate. If you would, close your eyes. I want you to imagine something with me. And I got to warn you, it's not going to go well, but I'm going to take you on a journey. So you're at school, and you have, in your very first class, your teacher has a pop quiz. And it's on, no. Not only that, it's on information that you have not studied. You are not prepared. This teacher has barely talked about this at all. And as you're taking this quiz, you know you're failing it. Like, you don't know any of the answers. It's terrible. You leave the class, like, overwhelmed, discouraged, disappointed, angry. You're heating up. And you go out into the hall, and you see one of your best friends. And you guys are very tight. Things are always good between the two of you. And this friend is so weird. Like, they kind of blow you off. They're not really paying attention to what you have to say. They're kind of dismissing you. They're acting like really cool, but in a way that is like you're not a part of whatever they're a part of. And you leave that conversation, and you're like, what just happened? What is happening with my friend? And you're like discouraged and frustrated, and you're just, gosh, this day is the worst. The day continues like that. Every class is 1,000,000 hours long. And all you're holding on to is that last night, your family got your favorite pizza. Not everybody's favorite pizza, just your favorite pizza. Picture the pizza that you really love. I'm assuming you all love pizza. If it's not pizza, pick something else that you love. But you know that when you get home, you left 2 pieces of pizza on a plate in the fridge. And if you can just make it through this day and get to that pizza and go and game or get on TikTok or watch something on Netflix, and you're going to eat your pizza, and then it'll just like wash away this terrible day. It's all you're holding on to. And you come home, you walk into the kitchen, you open the refrigerator door, and there is the plate, and it's empty. Someone took your pizza. Someone in your family who knew it was yours. They knew it was yours when they took it. They ate it. What were they thinking? And you feel yourself, you're losing control. There's a rage that has built up in you. Your whole day has been so terrible. This is like the last straw. And you're so angry. No, you're hangry. You are a hangry Hulk, like stomping around the kitchen. You throw the refrigerator door closed. You're kicking cabinets. You're yelling. You see a family member, and you start yelling at them. You're losing it. You're losing your mind. If you haven't opened your eyes, you can't. It's over. Deep breath. I'm sure none of you have ever done that before. I know I've never lost control, right? Got so angry that you felt like you had no control of your body or your mind or what you might say. Like the anger just took over your body, took over everything. You just let it. It just all consuming. Have you guys ever known someone that they get angry super fast? They go from, like 0 to 100. Raise your hand if you know someone that like one word or a reaction, they can just overreact. I know that when I see someone like that, and they're like raging out, it's disproportionate to like whatever happened. I think they should have control over themselves. They should not do that, right? They should take a step back, because the way they're acting is ridiculous. It's ridiculous to get super mad over nothing. But when it's me, when I overreact, it's totally fine, right? Maybe you guys feel it's totally justified. Like when I snap and I'm taking it out on people around me or physically acting out, then I feel like it's okay. Like I had to let it erupt. But I know that we don't want that. When we see other people, we're thinking, gosh, there's gotta be a better way. You guys have been talking about Solomon in the Old Testament. He was an author. He was referred to as the wisest man who ever lived. He called himself the wisest man who ever lived. But we just let it go because he really did write down so many things that we use today. So many pieces of advice, so much wisdom, so many smart, good ways to live our lives. And we still read these today. And so we let him get away with being called the wisest man who ever lived. But let's take a look. He wrote in Proverbs 29:11, fools vent their anger, but the wise bring calm in the end. Can you guys say this with me like really loud? Ready? Fools vent their anger, but the wise bring calm in the end. You guys even said that, like, bring calm in the end. It was beautiful. Excellent. So good. Does anybody know what a fool is? I think you guys have been talking about this. Yes? You're pointing at your friend. Cool. What do fools do? Feel free to just yell it out. What is something that a fool would do? Bad decisions? Ruin their lives. Okay, so you guys, you know what fools are. I love it. So good. For our context, we're going to talk about the kinds of fools that get mad. The Bible talks about a lot of different kinds of fools and what they do and how they ruin things. But we're going to talk about fools that are angry. And they do two things in particular. They let their emotions take over. They just run wild with their anger. And they also act unwisely without thinking. They react. They don't pause. They get mad, and they just let it go. They just say things they don't mean to say. They hurt people. They do things that are going to cause regret down the road. They might get in fights or just do things that they feel like it's an out-of-body experience. When I think about anger, there's a character in an animated movie. I'm not a big cartoon movie fan. Please don't hate me. I know. But there's one that I really, really love, Inside Out. Do you guys like the movie Inside Out? Yeah? No? What? It's the best one. It's my favorite. I love it. I have a psychology undergrad, so the idea of a girl who you can see her feelings inside her head, it's brilliant. It's so great. And there's joy and sadness. There's one character that is my absolute favorite, and it's this guy. Anger. Isn't he perfect? When you think about anger, do you just picture this guy? He is exactly what anger would look like, animated. He's red. His hair it blows his top. His actual fire comes out. Have you guys ever heard the expression, when you are angry, that you see red? Anybody ever heard that? Yeah. This comes from the fact that when we get mad, our blood pressure increases. Have you ever been so mad that you're like shaking? Like so mad. Yeah, it's because your heart rate has gone up. If you become a person, this is hopefully not going to happen to any of you, but if you become a person where anger is really a part of your life, later in life, it can cause heart attacks and strokes. It can actually like mess up your body. Yeah, terrible. Yeah, I did just say that it could kill you. However, if I said just the emotion anger, would you say it's good or bad? Just yell, good or bad? Anger, good or bad? Good? Neither? I think I heard, or either? Both? Cool. We'll let that sit for a minute. I'm not going to answer that one for you. For all of you that grew up in church, we talk about sin a lot. Is anger a sin? Yes or no? Yell. No. Yes. Maybe. Cool. I am going to answer that one. Ephesians 4:26 says, be angry and do not sin. You guys have probably heard this verse. It talks about not letting the sin go down on your anger. This verse is saying, be angry. It will happen. You're going to be angry. It's going to be part of your life. But do not sin. It's a separate thing. You can be angry and not sin. It's what you do when you're angry that could be a sin. So we're going to go back to that first verse with Solomon. He's talking about how fools vent their anger, but the wise bring calm in the end. Will you guys say with me again the yellow part? But the wise bring calm in the end. You guys at 9 o'clock did not do this, and I really love the calmness of that. But this verse, the second half of this verse, is indicating that there's an option. It's talking about restraint. We can choose. When we get mad, we don't have to let it just take over. We don't have to let it lead to regret. We have a choice to make. Our bottom line today is that your attitude does not control you. You control your attitude. You could even say your anger does not control you. You control your anger. It's a choice you can make. It's like a thermostat in your body that has a dial. Does anybody have a Nest thermostat? You know what Nest is? You can program it from your phone. It's so cool. I want one. I know they've been around a long time. I still have the button kind. I want to be more bougie. But you can actually grab onto it and turn it up or down, like an old school one. Anybody have the old school ones that were like a circle with the, yeah, exactly. It could look like this. This is not a Nest, but it gives you the idea. When you're mad, like we talked about in the beginning, that class that you're failing this quiz, and then you run into your friend, and it's like you just get hotter. You're annoyed, frustrated, disappointed, more angry, more frustrated, until the point that you're just raging on people. It's an option. You can turn that dial up to rage, or you can turn it down. You could take a minute and ask yourself, what's really going on? Do I have a choice here? Am I going to just let my anger run wild? When I was preparing for this, I started thinking about anger and how it's really the second emotion that we have. Have you guys thought about that? By the time you get angry, there's something that happened before that. There's a feeling that you had before that. It might be anxiety. It could be fear, disappointment. You have this feeling of rejection. Your friend comes up to you and they're super weird and you feel dismissed, and then you're mad. The anger didn't come out of nowhere. It's almost like a symptom of this first feeling that you had. And when you let anger just take over, and it feels that way, it can feel like you're blind, like you can't even think about anything else. But if you can make a decision to take a step back, think about being calm, like a wise person would be, then you might realize that what's really going on is something like this. It could be that your parents are fighting a lot. And just the idea of coming home, you're anxious. You're feeling anxiety about what's going to happen when you get there. And then you're afraid for your future. What's going to happen with your parents? And maybe you're even disappointed in your parents. And before you know it, it has built up, and you are so mad at them. And it's not just that you're mad, and it's okay to be mad. Being mad is it's like a light bulb that God gave us. When you get mad, there's something going on. It could be that something is hurting you. It could be that you're seeing injustice in the world. You see somebody else get hurt, and you get mad. And that's actually, it doesn't feel good, but it's actually a good thing. It's good that we can be aware of it. Sometimes we just get mad because we're being selfish, and that's another thing that you have to think about. Am I just not getting my way? Is it okay if I don't get my way? Would it be better to not get super mad? But anger is it's like a light bulb that goes off. It's, dare I say, a gift. When you get mad, it is telling you there's something wrong. And if you take a minute and you take a step back, you have a minute to say, what's really the first feeling? What feeling led to this anger? How did I get here? After I did the first, the 9 o'clock talk, they were like, you should tell a personal story. And I was like, I don't want to talk about myself. I don't want to tell everybody about a time I was mad and overreacted. That sounds terrible. And so in between the 9 and 11, I addressed that. And I'm thinking about I'm going to tell you this story that is probably really hard to relate to, but I got married in January. Yay. So great. You're probably like, how old is she? Yeah. It was marriage number 2. It is really wonderful. That's not what I'm mad about. It's actually amazing. He's incredible. I'm just really thankful. Sometimes this is not a marriage talk, but if you hold out for someone that really loves Jesus, it can be great. But then a few months ago, I started talking to some doctors, and it has always been a dream of mine to have kids, and it just never occurred to me that that wouldn't happen. And so I found out that it's not going to be an option for me, which is the worst. I'm so bummed about it. And I found myself getting really mad at God. I did all these things. You told me to make good decisions. And so since since my first divorce, I have made my life all about God. I've made a lot of mistakes too, but I really did devote the last many years, I'm not gonna tell you how many years. I worked at a church, I've been serving, I really have made my life about him, and here I'm like, finally. And it's not an option. And I was so mad. And so I've been talking to God about it, which is good because he knew I was mad at him. I don't know if you guys have ever thought about that, but if you don't tell God you're mad, he still knows. And I'm really thankful because as we've been talking it out, I feel like he's leading me to other dreams that I might have, like adoption or foster care or something like that, which would be really great, right? But it wasn't part of my plan, and sometimes I think my plan is the best. And it's not. God's plan is always the best for you. So talk to God when you're mad. And you can take a minute. Your attitude does not have to control you. You can control your attitude. Your anger does not have to control you. You get to make a choice. You get to decide before there's regret. In a few minutes, you guys are going to head to small group, and you're going to talk about some strategies. Like, what do you do when you're so mad? Like, you need a plan in place, especially if it's something that is very real for you right now. I know that there's some of you that there's something going on, and you are so mad. And so you guys are going to go to small group, and you're going to talk about things like taking a deep breath, counting to 10, leaving the situation. Sometimes you just got to get out and then come back. And I don't want to trivialize this because for some of you, the anger that you're feeling right now is very big and very deep. But I want to challenge you to take it to God. He wants to be there for you. He wants to comfort you. Can I pray for you guys? Lord, anger is so tricky. It's hard. It feels terrible when we feel like we're out of control. But I thank you that we don't have to do it alone. We have some amazing people that love us and that you are always with us. You are angry when we're angry. You're sad when we're sad. You love us so very much, God. And I just ask that you would help us. Help us to know when to take a minute to assess, to figure out what's really going on in our hearts and minds so that we don't hurt others, we don't hurt ourselves, we don't create regret in our lives. We love you. Amen. As you guys go to small group, I want you to be thinking about this question. What food changes your mood? You guys are awesome. You're dismissed.